Morning guys, welcome to NelkelGTRVlogs. I'm going to tell you dudes what I imported in this video. But before I tell you, I'm just going to tell you about a couple updates and why I haven't really been posting the last week and a half. So the good news is, I bought myself a GoPro, finally. Got some crazy extensions so I can pretty much swivel around, do whatever filming I need to do in the car, out the car, etc. Only problem is, the microphone is terrible. I didn't realize how bad it is when it's inside its casing and when you're driving. It's horrific, so I need to buy myself an external mic. Hence the reason why this is an overlay audio on top of what I filmed this morning. I also bought myself this Gobi Gorilla suction mount thing, so I can pretty much stick it to anywhere on the car and I can swivel and turn it just like any other Gorilla pod. So that's pretty cool. I'm starting to invest slowly into better equipment, trying to get these vlogs and these videos better. I'm hoping to get a gimbal sometime so I can make better montage videos and really produce some quality stuff. So I want to get a little bit more into this whole editing thing. I've changed suites now. I'm really enjoying editing and putting stuff up, but without the right equipment, I'm making shit. So I've decided that I'm going to tell you dudes today about the car that I'm importing and why I'm importing it and what are the reasons for bringing it in. And I'm doing it now because there's a little bit of a delay in the car arriving from Tokyo and I don't have pictures and videos, etc. So I'm just going to show you the photos from the purchase. The next thing is I managed to get out to the RX-7 and fix that AST. So if you guys aren't sure what that is, that's the air separation tank. So my understanding is it just removes any unwanted or unnecessary air in your coolant system. So I managed to rip that apart, and while I was pulling it out, a few little pieces broke off, so the little nozzles where the pipes go onto, those broke. Also, the whole unit detached itself, as you can see. So all of the stuff that I'm talking about now, this all happened over the course of about 2 weeks. So I've had all this footage, I haven't been able to compile it. Japan and South African time, there's 7 hours difference, they're 7 hours ahead, so I've been having to wake up early morning, chatting to the guys in Japan, trying to sort out my bids, my buys, etc. and just purely getting this car sorted out. So it's been a bit rough trying to sort it out with the time zone problems. So after I did that AST removal the one night, I went to go through to a friend's place. He has got a BMW 335i. He's done quite a bit of work to the car. I'm thinking about doing a feature on the car. It's not exactly JDM, but it is turbocharged. It sounds awesome, it looks awesome. I'd dig to just do some little montage in it, some feature, talk about the car, go for a drive in the car. Let me know if you guys are interested in seeing it. While we were at his place, he needed to plastidip a couple parts that he has, so I figured let me take some of my stuff there. And you all know I need to just sort out that rear N1 spoiler. I was going to wrap it and I figured, why wrap it if the rest of the car is plastidip? So I bought a can of plastidip and I was going to attempt it myself. I tried doing it myself, but it landed up having this weird rough texture on it. So I took some 2000 grit sandpaper and I took most of it away, but then you could kind of seal the little blotches and stuff. So I found out what I was doing wrong, and apparently you're supposed to do on the last coat a medium or a heavy final coat. I didn't do this, I just did a whole bunch of light coats on the car. So now I've got this rough texture, most of it's off, but I'm going to buy another tin because I ran out of spray, and I'm going to give it another shot and then hopefully get that on the car this week sometime. The other thing that I really wanted to do, and I landed up doing, is my Gretty logo on the intercooler. So I made a stencil, I just printed it out on 2 A4 sheets of cardboard to the right size that the Gretty logo is supposed to be. If you guys want dimensions, etc., just let me know. I then took a Stanley knife and I just cut out the little stencil, and I took it, I stuck it to the front of the intercooler, measured, made sure it's centered, etc. Stuck it to the front of the intercooler, then masked out everything, put newspaper, made sure I didn't get any paint anywhere else, and I sprayed it. And I used some high heat enamel spray, which is pretty cool. And it's high gloss as well, so it looks really good. So I'm going to tell you guys now about this car that I'm importing. I'm going to have to start 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago I invited my parents over to my house and I was just casually chatting to my father outside while we were eating, and he was asking me a little bit more about this car, this RX-7 that's currently sitting in one of his garages. And he says to me he likes the car, he likes the shape, it's the only Japanese car he likes. If you did remember, and if you've been an OG on the channel, About 7 months ago I made a video talking about Japanese cars and JDM cars, and the RX-7 came up and I said, oh, this is the only car that my father likes that's Japanese or JDM. So he approached me then and he said he likes the car, how much? So we got chatting and he said, look, he wants to import one himself, he really likes it, what's the process, etc., can I do it? And we got chatting and we decided, okay, well, why doesn't he take the black RX-7? Because he doesn't mind that it's an auto, he'll leave it auto, he'll leave it in its current state, obviously fix it up and go from there. The only problem is ITAC, which is the International Trade Association something of South Africa. So there is a clause that they have that you cannot sell, lease, lend, hire, etc. the car for a period of 2 years after the date of registration. So once I get the car registered, which will probably be another month, maybe 2 months, legally nobody other than myself can drive the car unless I'm in the passenger seat. Now he doesn't care about this at all because he's got vintage, veteran, classic cars, etc. that he barely drives himself. They maybe get started once, twice a month, actually probably less than that, and they pretty much never get driven, so he doesn't mind. So what's happened is he's going to be taking on this car. It's going to be registered to my name in 2 plus minus years. It's going to get transferred across to him, and the car's still going to stay on the channel. I'm still going to be doing some work on the car, helping him out with it, so we're still going to be filming on the RX-7, which is cool. Now this is a bit of a long-winded story, I'm going to try to keep it short, but let me start looking at other cars then, because I can always get an RX-7 later in the future, and I do want to import other cool JDM cars. So I started looking at maybe getting a 2-door Subaru, and the only Subarus out there that I can get are pretty damn expensive, so they don't allow other cars in unless it's a collector's item. So what we're allowed to bring in is a Colin McRae commemorative edition. There's the 22B, the S201, S202. The other S series, they aren't registered as collector's items just yet. And I didn't particularly want any of these. The only Subaru I would have bought would have been a 2-door version 6 STR. That's really the only one that I really wanted. So Subaru out the way, I decided to look at the S15 Silvias, the Spec R. Unfortunately, that's pulled off the collector's item list for this year. So hopefully it'll come back maybe next year or the following year, and I can make a purchase on one of those sometime in the future. So S15 is now out of the picture. I then re-looked at the Supra. In 2014, the Supra was banned for importation into South Africa as a collector's item. So there's some long story behind it. I'm not going to go into the detail on that, but I'd heard that it may possibly be coming back as a collector's item next year. I'm not 100% on this, I'll only know next year. But if that's the case, maybe there'll be a Supra in the near future. The next one is Honda NSX. Too expensive. All the models too expensive. I do want to own one day, but I need to focus on getting a nice new family home. I need to focus on my baby, my wife, family, etc. And buying cars and everything else just falls behind. So Honda NSX is out the window. There were a couple else that I started looking at. Toyota Celica ST205, not on the collector's item list. ST185 Carlos Saints Limited Edition is on the collector's list. Unfortunately, I've already had one, I didn't feel like buying another one. I then started looking at Mitsubishi Evos. We aren't allowed bringing in Evo 7, 8, 9, 10 because they were sold in South Africa in small quantities, so we can't bring those in. However, the Evo 6 Tommy Mackin Edition, that is available to bring in, and then I had some doubts about bringing in one, and I'm not ready for an Evo right now. I'd love to have one, but I'd probably get something more like an Evo 7 or 8 because I really dig the shape. So that didn't leave me with many options. Obviously, I can't bring in other Skylines other than GTRs. 33, 34, I was thinking about the 34 is a bit too expensive for right now. I do want to own one in the future. The 33, I wasn't too sure about, so that scrapped that idea. So what does this leave us with? A couple other cool Japanese cars, but I decided if I don't do this now, I'm never going to do it, and I might as well just do it properly. So I started looking at another RX-7. Probably not what you guys wanted to hear. You guys mostly thought I was getting a Silvia or something cool, another Japanese car. So I've bought another Mazda RX-7. However, this one is different. I was looking on two sides of the spectrum with regards to auctioning a car, and I was looking at a car that was slightly wanked on the exterior, maybe a little bit rough around the edges on the interior, but had modifications like a Pexi Power FC intake, exhaust, etc. A lot of things done. Maybe a bridge-ported motor or street-ported motor. So I started looking at that side, and the other side of the spectrum was a completely stock RX-7. I ended up losing a highly modified one for, I think it was about $40 or $50. It was plus minus about 700 Rand. I ended up losing quite a good example when it came to mods. Slightly high mileage, I think it was about 140,000. A little bit too high for my liking. I wasn't sure what engine work had been done, but I did know all the bolt-on modifications, and it was pretty neat. So I landed up losing this car. I lost about 15 others that were mostly stock, and then let's say about 10 mostly stock, and then about 5 that were highly modified. And then I received a phone call last week when I made that other video telling you guys that I've won a car. And I received a phone call saying, I won a car, I hope I'm happy. Now that day I bid it on quite a few of them, and it landed up being, I think, the third one for the day. And I managed to play in my ballpark and price. I went right up to my maximum bid, and I landed up winning a completely stock example. It's got stock exhaust, it's got stock trim in the engine bay, the interior is neat as anything. The only modification to this car is the electronic toll control system. Other than that, completely stock. On the spec sheet, there was one scratch on the side sill, there was a light scratch underneath the front headlight, there was dirt in the interior, which is quite surprising looking at these auction pictures. It's very, very clean, and then it was also scuff marks on the steering wheel. Other than that, nothing wrong with the car. I mean, it's got just under 100,000 kilometers. It was one owner, garaged car, never seen snow, never seen salted roads. So it's a super, super, super clean example. It's a manual, which is brilliant. Okay, I've got that automatic on the black one, which is rather shit, and it kind of left a bad taste in my mouth of the RX-7. And I figured, let me get this car manual, stock, etc., or another RX-7, but it has to be manual because I kind of need to redeem the RX-7. Although I have had fun fixing it up, cleaning it up, etc., but I think it's time for a change now. I need to focus on the GTR and not be clouded by a dodgy RX-7. So now I've got the stock car. Now the dilemma is, do I leave it stock? Do I modify it? If I do modify it, I'll be the first person to modify it. I'll be doing everything myself. If I leave it stock, the car's going to possibly appreciate in value. Either way, I'm collecting these cars and I'm not planning on selling them ever. So guys, that's the story. I'm getting another RX-7. It's completely neat example. It's a 1997 Type RS, and it's a December 1997, so the last of the Series 7s. Dudes, I hope you're not too disappointed with my recent purchase. The black RX-7 will stay in the vlogs for a little bit. The silver one is going to be here probably in about a month and a bit, so I'm going to do another collection video, bring the car, and we'll do a detailed review on the car. But I'm excited. I mean, this is a car that I'm just going to be able to drive and hopefully not have any issues straight out the box, and then possibly modify it. You dudes tell me what you think. Should I mod it? Should I go crazy? Should I leave it stock? I don't know. Bear in mind, I'm still going to buy more JDM cars in the future. Guys, thanks a lot for being here. I really appreciate all the support that you've been giving me over the last little while. Don't forget to hit a like, drop a comment, and if you're unsubscribed, please hit the button. I really appreciate it. And dudes, I will see you in the next video.
No suit and tie, but baby, I go to work. Don't do it for the money, but that's one of the perks. If y'all got the shovel, then I got the dirt. Burying rappers, what I mean when I say take them to church. Oh man, I'm back with more bars. Yo, girlfriend on my scorecard. Opportunity knocks well, someone please tell me where the doors are.